Yep. Yep, here we go. I thought I put this on low. I think I did. That's probably fine, right? Yeah, it's probably fine. Even if it's not on low. Yeah, okay. Okay. Switching off the loading screen. Hey there, hi there. Dying Hyde here. I don't know if this is going to be a long stream or not. Probably not. Like, none of them are ever long streams, are they? But this one's going to be a less long stream than usual. I've come here to watch you suffer. Do not disappoint me. Oh, believe me, I will not disappoint you there. I was very tempted to just say, no, I'm not streaming this week either. Like, I've had a lot of bad luck as of late for streaming, right? Last week, my shoulder, I slept on it wrong. And it only just, like, yesterday got better. So that was like a week and a half of me not having a shoulder to use. Yeah. Like, humans have 2 arms most of the time. And I did not. I could not use 2 arms. Is that truly? Luck or skill issue? I think you take it for granted when you're younger, right? Hello, you're looking a bit tired. Yeah, I am, Diana. Nice to see you. Also, hello, Aurora. Nice to see you both. I didn't even announce the stream on Twitter. I'm surprised anyone found it. I am not great today. And yes, it really is a skill issue when you get older, right? Like, you don't think about it, but some of the most mundane tasks become skill issues. Like, you have to sleep properly. And I mean, you have to sleep in a proper, like, position. You can't really go to bed hugging your body pillow anymore. You know? You gotta sleep on your back so you don't pinch your shoulder and, you know, not be able to use it for 2 weeks. Sleeping schedule's a mess. Wake at this hour. Oh. I hope you get that sorted out, but thank you very much for, hoping I feel better. I hope so too. I haven't quite explained why I'm not feeling great today. I suffer from weather-based migraines. And it is springtime, and the weather here is rapidly changing by the day. So I've had a migraine for 2 days. The headache part is actually okay today, but I also get really bad nausea when I get migraines like this. So I've been dealing with nausea for 2 days straight now. It's made eating difficult, which I guess is a skill issue. But yeah, that's why it's going to be what it is today. I did want to stream, right? Like, I stream once a week. I can't really afford not to if you want to be here and interact with me. Yeah, I like interacting with all of you as well. So, I don't want to let that be ruined by my body being some kind of barometric gauge, you know? Yeah. Oh, you do. Oh, very nice. I got someone who understands. What a coincidence, I get... Oh, body pillow, Mrs. How they used to be hugged. You know, I don't actually have an anime body pillow. My body pillow is just plain brown, believe it or not. Oh, that's unfortunate. It has a plain brown cover, but I used to sleep with that. For like 12 years, I've been sleeping on my side, the same side, holding my body pillow, as I typically do. And I don't know, this year, I guess I just got too old for it. The joys of it. Coincidence on the rain and snow migraines? Yeah. They're killers, aren't they, right? Like, it starts as sinus pressure, and you can feel it behind your eyes. uh, You can feel it behind your eyes, and it gradually gets to the point where, it bulges your eyes, right? If it gets bad enough. That's how I feel it. Like, my eyes feel like they're bulging out of their sockets. Probably not great conversation, but, yeah. Yeah. Definitely not ideal feeling that. It's uncommon to find people with the same issue. You know, one of the interesting things is, I read a lot of science on this because, yeah, it is pretty uncommon for people to get diagnosed with this. In the literature, there do seem to be, like, I don't know how you'd call it, that there are correlations which have been noted anecdotally, but no one has been able to, at least to my knowledge, and at least to a couple years ago, no one's been able to find a causal link between the storms and the migraines. So, I don't know. The diagnosis can't happen until you have a causal link. Otherwise, it's just anecdotal reports. And as silly as that sounds, like, is it gonna be the chicken or the egg? That's how it works. Yeah, that's how science works. Have I seen a doctor for it? Oh. Ah, your allergist has the same issue. Very interesting, right? Like, I've seen correlations where it's like 40% correlated with barometric pressure. But again, this is mostly anecdotal. And it has to be to a certain degree because we are dealing with, like, a symptom that a patient would experience. I guess there are objective tests for certain kind of migraines. You can see, like, blood flow if you, I don't know, scan the brain. See if there are any constrictions in there. Yeah, most doctors really don't know what to do. I did see a doctor. I'll get into that. It was a long time ago, though. Sinus pressure is often... Yeah, the rubber band effect. That's a good way of looking at it. Like, I once watched some chubas from Hololive put rubber bands around watermelons. And that is pretty much what it feels like, you know? You'll get that tightening around the head, like right around the sinus area, right around the eyes. And then there's the throbbing as it threatens to explode like a watermelon. Thunderstorms are the worst. Yeah, thunderstorms... I don't know if it's really thunderstorms for me, but yeah. Regular rain and snow on most days is fine for you. Oh. I am so sorry to hear that you end up bedridden. Yeah, for thunderstorms. Yeah, unable to drive is probably a good thing. I've gotten them so bad that I go temporarily blind. That's another side effect of migraines. Like, your vision turns entirely white, and you just can't see anything. Luckily that only happens to me a couple times per year or so, if that. I remember I was taking a test in college once, and it relied very heavily on... That was a horrible shot. On visual cues to determine, well, people know what I am, right? Like, I studied geology, so it was something in geology, and I needed to identify, what they were. And, you can't really do that without your eyes. Like, a lot of the clues on determining what something is are visual. So that was fun. Yeah, not ideal. Oh, sounds like you... No, I don't think I have worse symptoms than you do. Like I said, that's a rarity. Thankfully, that is a rarity. But you absolutely wouldn't be able to drive like that. That'd be like a danger. So, even the less severe symptoms, like, yeah, I wouldn't want to be driving. Here's another thing, right? Your house might be a slightly different pressure from the outside world, And that might be a slightly different pressure from the inside of your car, right? So, you gotta be really considerate of that, because in my experience, when I switch whatever kind of locale I'm in, from indoors to car, or just going outside, my head, it just starts throbbing because of that change in pressure, yeah. With a car, you can open up the fan so that it brings air from the outside. That equalizes the pressure. So if you're experiencing something from coming into the car from outside, that typically helps a little bit. But most people are probably coming from their own house when they go for a car ride. So yeah, probably not ideal for you. Yeah, thank you, Diana. I am glad that doesn't happen too much either. The joys of it all though, right? Like, I don't want to complain about it. It's a lot better than it used to be. And this goes into the doctor kind of thing. I suffered from this pretty much my whole life. Suffering is the right word. But I went to see a doctor sometime around, I think, 10 or 12. It was early life-ish. 10 or 12 is early life. Ah, I'm an old man. Ah, it hurts. Ah, the pain. But yeah, I went to see a doctor for frequent migraines, and they couldn't find anything wrong with me. See? See? There's nothing wrong with Hyde's brain. It's perfectly fine. I've had a lot of brain scans. They told me to eat more, right? That was their best guess, that I wasn't eating enough. I don't think that's true, though. I was a perfectly healthy weight. They told me to drink more. They thought I might be dehydrated. Also not really what I thought would be the case. And I eventually put 2 and 2 together and got 5. That I would usually get migraines when there were pressure changes, so weather fronts shifting. It doesn't have to be a thunderstorm like yours, Diana. Your brain eludes our current understanding. Yeah, that's a nice way of saying it's inconclusive. Yeah. I think they understand it just fine, right? There's nothing wrong with it. They keep telling me, yeah. I keep passing those tests with flying colors. Yeah. They couldn't find anything physically wrong. So they guessed food or dehydration, which actually are common triggers for headaches in youth, right? Like they don't eat enough, they don't drink enough, they get dehydrated, or they start getting lightheaded. It's not what it was. I realized pretty soon, living where I was, there were a lot of storms, and those storms were often correlated with migraine. Luckily, there are happy things to go on. I figured out a way of drastically reducing my own migraines. Surely by accident, mind you, but I did figure out a medication that would work for me. Don't live in a desert. I've lived in a desert before. And now that I think about it, I rarely did have migraines out there. You might be onto something here, Diana. You grew up in one? Yeah. Yeah, I think you might be onto something here, Diana. Yeah. Although, I do remember, there were a lot of storms. It's just... I think the pressure was more equal, because, well, everything was flat out there, right? So you don't really get different, pressure zones. Like a storm out there, you could see it coming in from, like, a day away. Everything was so flat. You could just watch it roll in. Yeah. Good times. I really enjoyed, the desert. For a variety of reasons. Like, I don't like the cold either. Maybe I'll move back there someday. But I kind of missed, the drinking water. The drinking water in the desert, not ideal. I don't want to drink cactus juice, even if it is the cactusy. Yeah, yeah. The cactusy, cactusy. How would you describe cactus as an adjective? It just sounds sus, doesn't it? Cactusy cactus juice. Yeah, something like that. Cactusiest cactus juice. Yeah. What medication worked for you? Oh, right. Cacti. Cacti is plural. Technically, cactuses is plural too. It's not really a medication, but it is in all good migraine over-the-counter medications. It's purely caffeine. So, when I was about 13, I think, 13 or 14, it was before I started driving, but not, too much before. Or start learning how to drive, as it were. You start early some places, yeah. I had my first cup of coffee, and I don't drink coffee like I used to. Back in the day, okay, yeah, I think you're getting there. You knew that one? Yes, it does. It has drastically reduced, both my incidences of migraines caused by storms, and it has reduced the length of me suffering from migraines caused by storms in most cases. Have to be very clear. Yeah, I'm glad it helps for you as well. I know some people who it doesn't help with, and some people who just can't have it for whatever reason. Say they have religious reasons and they can't have it. I've known plenty of people with religious reasons that they can't have caffeine, and I always find it very sad if they suffer from a headache, because caffeine is one of the best treatments that is widely available for migraines like that. It works with the constricted blood vessels, right? Yeah, I think it's a vasodilator, meaning it's dilating the vascular system. So a lot of migraines are basically caused by the compression of the vascular system, which means blood doesn't flow through as easily. Then you're not getting enough oxygen to certain parts of your brain, or, you know, you just gotten swelling and it's uncomfortable in its own right. Plenty of reasons why it would be uncomfortable, or even why it would cause sensitivities to sounds, smells, or whatever. Yeah, or even turn you temporarily blind, as it were. Lots of things can get cut off, or not get the oxygen they need. Yeah, very unfortunate how common it seems to be for a lot of people that they can't have caffeine, because I do think that is one of the better ways of doing it. Right, I was going to tell you about my first cup of coffee, right. I couldn't stand the smell of coffee when I was younger. I absolutely could not stand it. I thought it smelled foul. I know some people who love the smell of coffee, but they can't stand the taste of it. And that's always been strange to me, because I originally really absolutely abhorred the smell of coffee. I don't know why people, well, I do know now, like, I do enjoy the smell of coffee now, but I didn't back then know why people enjoyed the smell of coffee. I thought it smelled burnt. I thought it smelled kind of floral and musty. Not something I'd want to be drinking. Oh yeah, caffeine. You do have to be careful about when you take it. Yeah, it will disrupt your sleep schedule regardless. Like, people think that if they drink a cup of coffee a couple hours before bed, they'll be fine. No, even a little bit left in your system will cause sleep disturbances. It's kind of strange like that. And it's slightly better if you have a higher tolerance, but yeah, you do have to be careful with it. And if you get a migraine, say a pressure front's moving in at night, and you get a migraine at night, yeah, you're kind of screwed. You're best going to bed, aren't you? That's always been my experience. Easier to sleep it off than a bit sensitive to that effect of it. Nope. Not quite sure. A bit sensitive to the effect of what you're discussing here. I assume you mean the effect of sleeplessness or sleep disturbances. In which case, yeah, it is a tolerance issue. When I was in college, I was drinking probably 10 cups of coffee a day. And unlike when I first started drinking coffee, I drank my coffee black in college. Even the gross stuff that you would get at like the college cafeterias and coffee shops, right? Your Starbucks coffees, if you will. Oh, I hated that stuff. It always tasted awful. I absolutely hate Starbucks coffee. It is not made to be consumed black. But I will not drink my coffee any other way nowadays. It has to be black. Yeah. Caffeine, right. Gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I assume that you also have a bit of tolerance to caffeine. Nowadays, I only drink a cup or two per day. And if I have a really bad migraine, I'll try 3 cups from time to time. Usually that'll knock it out. But the last couple days, no amount of caffeine is helping. But maybe that's just because the nausea, you know? I won't get into details, but keeping coffee in my stomach has been difficult. Yeah. Because of the nausea. Yeah. So you might also notice a little bit of vocal fry tonight. That's also a common side effect of not being able to keep coffee in your stomach. Yeah. Other chains I prefer? Yeah. I'll tell you what. A lot of people really dislike McDonald's. And I get it, right? But I think they have some of the best coffee that you can get in any kind of franchise. Like, yeah, they have excellent blonde roast coffee. It's never burnt. It's never burnt. It's never disgustingly bitter. It's always a blonde roast, and it's... Oh, I don't know. You can drink that black, I think. I think I could drink that black from any McDonald's chain there is. I've never had a bad cup of coffee from McDonald's. So that's usually my go-to. I know a lot of people go to Dunkin' Donuts for their coffee. And I do like Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts blends are some of my favorite coffees. Like, I usually buy them whole bean in a bag. I know I have cheap tastes. But I really like how consistent they are, right? Like, you can get a nice cup of coffee from like a single batch, single origin coffee place, say grown in one farm in Ecuador, and it will taste fantastic. Better than anything I will ever get in a Dunkin' Donuts brand bag. But it won't always be the same. And Hyde always prefers consistency over deliciousness, I guess. Can't remember what it tastes like. Don't go to McDonald's often? Yeah. I haven't been to McDonald's often as of late. I really haven't been too many places as of late. Yeah. I try to go out as little as possible, right? Like, I can work from home, I'm fine. Yes, working from home is a joy. Even if, working is not. I'll take it, right? I'll take it. Yeah, so I go out as little as possible. But I used to do a lot of traveling for, both jobs and academics at different points in my life. And there were always McDonald's around, so I could always get at least a decent cup of coffee. Yeah, that's how I felt about it. I do recommend it over, oh, that was awful. Over Starbucks, at least. I don't know, the other fast food, places might be a little iffier on their coffee. I think Wendy's might have the second best. So if you can't find a McDonald's or a Dunkin' Donuts, Wendy's might be your best bet if you have one. I know a lot of places don't have Wendy's these days. Like, they're set up for more elderly populated areas, right? I think that's what they really are for. I think they're going for the 1950s burger nostalgia. From when America was still in its peak, you know? I don't know too many young people who actually go to Wendy's. Oh, that was close. Oh no, I'm not made of money. That's the reason I don't go out, period. It's a good reason to not go out, Diana. That's a good reason to not go out. Yeah, fair. It's kind of ridiculous, right? Like, when I was in college, you could get a cup of coffee from McDonald's for like 99 cents. I don't even want to think about what it is nowadays. It's peak, but only for some people, yeah. I do like Wendy's myself, but I'm old, so... yeah. I don't blame you. Wendy's has some of the best burgers. If I have to go to a franchise, for burgers, and I'm anywhere that isn't like, the Southwest or Gulf states, I don't want to be too specific here, but if it isn't anywhere in a desert located next to a gulf, um, typically Wendy's would be the best one for hamburgers. I do think they're a bit heavy-handed on their mayo, though. Yeah. Like, they could definitely reduce the condiments they put on their burgers. What a burger, though, you know? I do think they appeal to older demographics. There are other, like, older demographic appealing franchises, too. Like, Arby's is the classic one. I don't know anyone... Well, me, I've been to an Arby's. But I don't know anyone who, any young people of the current generation who would willingly go to Arby's over any other fast food franchise, right? Like, I know a lot who would go to a Taco Bell and order some kind of burrito or something. But I don't know too many who would go for... Oh, this is bad. Look at that, we're blocked off. Go to Arby's for a classic roast beef or beef and cheddar. Yeah. Very much an older generation thing, I think. This is a really tough shot. I don't think we're gonna get it. Maybe. Nope. Absolutely missed. Only like a couple items on Arby's menu. Yeah. Yeah. All your friends around your age or a little younger hate Arby's. Unfortunately common. They have really great curly fries, don't they? Yeah. Their curly fries with whatever spice powder they put on them. It's pretty good. Like, it's not exactly the best French fry in fast food, but it certainly is something unique in fast food if you want a French fry. Yeah. How did we get here? How did we get from, migraines to... Oh, coffee. Right. Curly fries are good. You can get them at the grocery store now. Yeah. I remember, when I was a kid, elementary school, they would serve, curly fries as well for lunches, right? I did not go to a place that served, very nutritious, lunches. No. But they managed to get curly fries, probably in bulk, from some kind of shady supplier or something, right? And they were pretty good too. I don't know if they're the same as Arby's, because I'm pretty sure Arby's used to make all of their curly fries in-house, fresh, right? They would mash their potatoes, they would extrude them, they would spice them, then they would fry them. That's probably why it appeals to the older generations. They know quality, or at least new quality, and Arby's had quality at one point. It's like Burger King, right? There used to be an ad campaign for Burger King where you could make your burger your way. You got to decide what went on it, exactly what toppings, what condiments, and they would make it for you fresh. Nowadays, less so. You can ask for things not to be put on a Burger King burger. But you really can't ask for specifics, can you? It's a completely different world, and I understand why the younger generations don't know it, right? Because they grew up in an era without quality. So, if you grow up not knowing about it, you can't know what you're missing. That's always been my take on it. Burger King was much better. Yes. They really have gone downhill. I think it was Burger King that started using Cheetos in their burgers or French fries or something. I think around that era they probably went downhill, yeah. Like, I think they were trying to appeal to the younger generations. But, you know what would appeal to the younger generations? Just better food. I do think that, Burger King probably had the best French fries in all the fast food game. Highly contentious, belief, right? Like, a lot of people, they stand by the McDonald's French fries. I don't. They used to be better, back when they were fried in animal tallow. But ever since they switched to, vegetable oil instead of animal fat, yeah, it doesn't taste as good. I'm sorry. And even back then, I think I preferred, Burger King's thicker cut French fries. Yeah. A lot of chain restaurants have gotten worse. Yeah, save money. Yeah, because you're not going there, right? Yeah, they make your decision a lot easier not to go there. The irony, of course, is they're still doing fine, right? Like, a bunch of people are still buying their garbage. I don't feel bad calling it garbage, it is. Like, come on, look at the ingredients, and everything contains high fructose corn syrup, hydrogenated... hydrogenated trans fats, whatever else. It's not good for you. I don't think anyone ever thought it was. But now it's not good for you, and it doesn't even taste good. It tastes awful, it's bad for you, and it makes you feel bad after eating it. Especially when you get older. True, thank you. I don't think anyone would have... Yeah. Well, there are some decent fast food restaurants out there. You're gonna be paying a little bit more for their products, right? Like, do I dox myself a little bit? I've already hinted at it. I think Whataburger, over towards Texas and that area, they still use fresh ingredients. They still use real ingredients. So if you're ever near Texas, or you see a Whataburger in your area, I highly recommend them. Yeah. Fantastic little burger franchise. Different category? Oh, okay. But you said fast food, you know? Okay, maybe like... No, I agree there are different tiers of fast food. They are still fast food in my opinion. Yeah. I don't know. There are definitely different tiers. And you've got your McDonald's at the bottom. And your specialty franchises at the top. Yeah, exactly. I was supposed to talk about my first cup of coffee, wasn't I? Right. Well, yeah. We'll talk about my first cup of coffee anyway. So I've already hinted at it, but I drink my coffee black now, and I have pretty much most of my life since I started drinking coffee. But when I started, and for the first about a year, I drank my coffee exactly like my father drinks his coffee. Oh, that was a bad shot. My father, he drank a lot of coffee. And as far as I know, he still drinks a lot of coffee. But he doesn't drink it black, and he never did. He drinks it, this is really fascinating to me. He drinks it much like it's a Starbucks coffee, right? So he'll add a bunch of things to it. Usually, like half of his coffee would be milk. And then he would put like 4 tablespoons of sugar. This is in 1 cup of coffee. And technically it's a half cup of coffee. And I tried coffee like that for the first time. And that's how I got hooked on coffee. Yes! Half of it is milk. Half of it, I guarantee he's still drinking it the same way. He drank it the same way my entire life. I rarely saw my old man because he had a job like that. But yeah, when he got home, he would always make a cup of coffee the same exact way. He would make a very strong pot of coffee, fill up a mug halfway with the coffee, and then he would fill the other half with milk, whole milk. He didn't like cream, but he liked milk. He hated half and half, which is something I agree with. Half and half just tastes too oily. I don't like it in coffee. I never have. And then he would add like 4 tablespoons of sugar, just like you would get at Starbucks. But this was before Starbucks was even a thing, right? Like, Starbucks didn't take off until relatively late in my... Yeah, late in my childhood. I think it was 2009-ish? Yeah. It was mostly a West Coast thing. And I don't know if you can tell by my accent, but, not a West Coast person. Yeah. Only use half and half for recipes? I have seen some decent recipes for half and half. Like, I know an Alfredo recipe that used half and half. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. There's no way that'll work. And it surprisingly worked. Like, it's not an authentic Alfredo, but it's not terrible, right? And sometimes that's all you need. I thought for sure that would go in. We're gonna try for a trick shot here, just because I feel like it. But yeah, that was my first cup of coffee, the exact same way. Like, I had him show me how to make it. And it was, sugar. It was very sweet. I don't know how I could stand anything quite so sweet back in my youth. Like, nowadays, I can't eat things made of pure sugar anymore. Wow, I just whiffed on that. Yeah. But back in those days, like, anything was fine. I could guzzle down... I did guzzle down, like, syrup. That reminds me. One time in high school, we did a bake sale of sorts. It was more of an ice cream float sale, I think? No. It was an ice cream sundae sale for, fundraising for one of the club things, or... It wasn't really a club, but yeah, you can consider it a club. Despite my age, I still... I'm glad you still have a sweet tooth. Like, I still like sweets, I just can't eat, the very sweet ones anymore, right? Like, I eat a lot of sweets, but they're more subtle, more mild. I don't mean to call it more refined, but they're the type of things that you might have with a nice cup of tea, if you like tea. Yeah. Less birthday cake, you know? And I'm not saying that birthday cake is bad, mind you. I wish I could eat birthday cake again, but it's too much sugar for me. I think a lot of it has to do with how I cut all soda out of my diet. As soon as I cut soda out of my diet, yeah, my capacity for eating sweets drastically diminished. Yeah. I do wonder, right? Like, I think soda is probably one of the worst inventions for mankind. I think it will be our downfall in the end. Because in a lot of places, high fructose corn syrup is the main sweetener in soda. Excuse me, let me cough for a sec. Yeah. Yeah, I'm back now. Despite my age, I still... Oh yeah, don't drink too much soda anymore, it hurts your stomach. Yeah, it's too much sugar. A lot of people don't know this, but not only does a lot of soda contain high levels of acid, yeah, it contains a lot of acidity. It also has sugar, which will act like an acid. So it's like double upsetting. Ugh. Yeah, that's the nausea coming back. We're gonna push through for a little bit longer, I think. Yeah. I once heard, and I don't know if this is true, but I think it is, that Mountain Dew, they would make their soda mixes, their soda syrups, in, big vats, and then they would ship it as that syrup, instead of as Mountain Dew, like the final product, with water added. So, they could save on transport costs, right? That makes sense, right? It's concentrated, so they can add water at wherever they're packaging it, instead of wherever they're manufacturing it. So if those two places are not the same, you're going to save on all of that not shipping the water. But on the other hand, because it was so concentrated, it actually had to have chemical placards for acidity. So you needed special driving permits, special trucks that had a hazard for acidity. I'm pretty sure that's true, but it might be apocryphal. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's true. It wouldn't surprise me at all. I know a lot of like sodas are very, very acidic. They're like 4s and 5s sometimes. It is interesting, right? Like you need like chemical classifications for, or chemical class driving licenses for your truckers, yeah. Which is not ideal because it costs more, but apparently shipping water, it costs more than hiring drivers, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case, that shipping water, like, think about it. Water is a lot of empty weight when you have a product. Yeah. You can have humans made up of, what, 72 to 75% water? If you could dry out a human and leave about 28%, right? 72, 28. Yeah. If you'd leave about 28% of the human left. Wow, that was an awful shot. I am not concentrating tonight. You could save so much cost on like transporting them by airplane. Yeah. You could probably store them a lot easier too. Like a lot of people don't realize, but a lot of the cost from shipping, it actually comes from the fuel used in the shipping. Here in the USA, a lot of transport is still done by railroad. Yeah, a lot of commercial transport is still done by railroad. Just because it's so much cheaper to have a constant velocity train that doesn't usually make stops unless it has to, than it would be to have idling trucks carrying the same product. It's fascinating, the economics of it all. I must admit, I've never really looked too deeply into the economic side of things, but I do know that, ironically enough, Well, this conversation took a turn. You mean the dried out human husks one? Yeah, well, it's just like beef jerky, right? It costs a lot less to transport beef jerky of the same amount of meat than it does meat. You know, like liquidy meat. Yep, I hear the train's going every night. Yeah, yeah. There are trains running all over the USA. And a lot of people probably don't realize how much of their products come through commercial freight, through the railroads. Yeah. Like, it seems like such an antiquated way of transporting goods, doesn't it? Like, we have airplanes, why don't we use airplanes? Or we have shipping trucks, why don't we use trucks? Yeah. That's probably why you're also waiting for certain goods to get to you. Even when they're like an hour or two away in a storage depot. Usually they get put on a train. And trains have to make their loops. So you're gonna be waiting. Yeah. Waiting for those trains. Right, the irony of the trains. Here in the USA, a lot of our electrical power... Oh, this is fascinating. A lot of our electrical power still comes from coal-operated, basically steam turbines. We burn coal, and the coal boils water, and the steam turns a turbine, which generates electricity. That's the simplified explanation of how it works. It's a bit more complicated in real life, and I'm sure some of you probably know it better than I do. That wasn't really my area of expertise. Point is, we are still burning coal for electricity, and a great amount of it too. I think the last time I checked, it was something around 60% of our electricity came from burning coal, which also seems like an antiquated thing, doesn't it? Like, we have nuclear energy now. It doesn't produce CO2. Why aren't we using more nuclear energy? Why aren't we using, like, wind farms or whatever? It's fascinating that we're still using coal to such a degree. Also transport across ocean. Yeah. Like, if you have, shipping. Shipping seems like it's such a terrible thing, right? Like, you've got to go through, like, the Panama Canal. The only, way through the continents. Through one ocean to the other. You've got to go through the Panama Canal if you want something shipped from one side to the other. That takes time. There are queues, there are lines. Everything is scheduled well in advance. It is a mess that I wouldn't ever want to deal with. So I try never to buy anything that isn't already stored in a warehouse. That is at least continental. Yeah. I try. Sometimes it's very hard, right? Like, you want a specific item, and they're out in the warehouse. You have to go to the source. I get it. Maybe you want a really fancy Chinese tea, right? Well, you could get it through overland travel in, say, a Russian supplier, but most people are probably going to get it through the sea travel route, and it's going to take a long time. Lines up what I've heard before, so I think you're correct. Yeah. It really is a mess. I wouldn't want to deal with it. I've heard rumblings about people maybe wanting to build another canal. I think that'd be fascinating, right? There are so many ships that make it through the Panama Canal, and they're all paying a fee, right? To keep it open, to keep it running, to keep it dredged. Like, a lot of people don't realize this, but that canal has to be dredged constantly, because as soon as they open it up from one side, sediment will flow into it. And if that sediment is allowed to build up, you're not going to have a canal anymore. So you have to maintain it. But that also means that these people in charge of maintaining the Panama Canal can basically charge whatever they want to maintain their canal. Yeah. And I think it is internationally run, but I don't know. I don't want to get into the politics of it, but yeah. I've heard rumblings of maybe wanting to build another traffic route so that if there are, say, breakdowns of a ship in the Panama Canal, or any kind of shipping canal, really, at a critical juncture, you don't back up trade internationally for however long it takes to get that ship out of there. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Hey Senmath, nice to see you. Today's a good day for lurking. Well, today, today is supposed to be a short stream because I am not feeling very well. But I still wanted to give people their weekly stream. So, yeah, lurking is fine. I think you missed most of it, though. I don't think I'm gonna go for too much longer. Maybe, at most half an hour. Yeah. But it's nice to see you. Yes. Hiding behind the chat? What do you mean you were hiding behind the chat? I can't turn the chat over, Senmath. I can't see it from the other side. Weekly hide time. Well, the way I see it, is that I put out YouTube content, right? Most of what I put out are videos, short form as in shorts, or long form as in videos from which I make shorts. Sometimes I'll throw out some other content, and I do have plans in the works, right? Like scripted things. I do have scripted things in the works. I just haven't been able to put them together. I have a lot of projects in mind. But those are things that I do off stream, right? I do those in my own time, I work on them when I can, and I release them when I can. And those I see as the main type of content on this channel. I'm not really a streamer, but I do recognize the importance of streaming, right? Streaming is very different from the kind of content that I would usually put out, because I get to talk to each of you. We get to interact directly, which is not something that you can do with my other content, right? You don't get to have a conversation with me, if you want to. I don't know if people actually really want to have a conversation with me, but you get to guide whatever I talk about. You get to put me on tangents, and I get to talk about things that I probably wouldn't ever talk about in my videos. So there is a very different kind of content here during the weekly stream. And I did try streaming more often when I first started out, say 7 months ago. I tried to stream 3 times a week. I just I couldn't do it while putting out videos. But that's what it came down to. I had to sacrifice either the extra streams or the videos themselves, because those things take a little bit of time to edit, as it were. Yeah. Like, I've released cut content before, and you can see how much I actually cut from the recordings. And you can see, yeah, a lot of work really goes into those videos. I know it doesn't always seem like it. Like, you can't always see the effort that I put in, and that's okay. I think that's probably better if you can't see all of the effort I put in. It makes me look better, right? Yeah. But it's true. I put in a lot of effort into those videos. Yeah. Even the shorts, right? The shorts don't look like they have a lot of effort in them, but they really do. I know I'm just taking a clip from an older video, but I have to resize everything. I have to make sure that I cut out as much as possible, so that only the most essential parts are there. And then I have to release it again, which on YouTube, at least a couple minutes, right? They set all the tags, put the description in, make a catchy title, make sure you're using the right hashtags. I hate hashtags. I really hate hashtags, but that isn't a conversation. Yes, you do put a... I am always appreciative of the comments, but you're absolutely right. That isn't a conversation. I don't think they're necessarily weird either, though, Diana. I think the comments are no weirder than my content is. And they're always appreciated. Like, no one ever has to leave a comment or send a message in my chat. But it's always nice to give people the opportunity if they should want to. Yeah. That's always been my philosophy, at least. So I recognize the importance of keeping a weekly stream, at least. And I will try my best from here on into the future to continue the weekly stream tradition. It might not always be a weekly Minesweeper or weekly Pool Send Math. Maybe next week we'll do something else. I do have plans in the work, right? Yeah, I talked about that. Like, there is a movie night that I want to have coming up. I just haven't been able to get the assets properly made yet. I will be making the assets for that one. Well, at least my model. I want to give myself a proper, fitting model for that. It's gonna be a one-off, I don't know why I'm doing it. I just think it'd be funny. So, we're gonna have another movie night, public domain, but one of my favorites. So we're gonna do that. That's gonna come up in one of these weeks. I have another plan for another persona. Yeah, another one of us. Not just Jekyll, not just Hyde, but someone entirely new. Who could it be? I'm working on him. So he's probably going to be worked on for another couple weeks, and his content's going to be a little bit more scripted. But he'll probably be live streaming as well. So he'll take up some of the weekly time. But I think you'll enjoy his content when he appears. Question, what inspired your boyfriend ASMR videos? Can't listen to them as ASMR, makes me squirm. Yeah, I've talked about this in some of my other videos, but one of the first things I did when I got a microphone and started making content, it's unlisted now, you won't be able to find it, but I made an ASMR BFE kind of video just to test out the microphone and to test out how it would sound and really just to put it out there. And I didn't like how it sounded, but ever since then I realized it's actually a very valuable tool, right? So the first BFE sleep aid video that I put out is essentially a reimagining of the same scenario that I originally did for, you know, the first voiced content on my channel. Yeah. Please do not ask. I will not be linking it. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't exist. Except for me. It exists for me, so I can look back at it and compare how much my voice has changed or improved. Like, I've talked about it, but I grew up with a speech impediment, and I had to go to speech therapy for years and years and years. So, yeah. When you're doing BFE, or ASMR, you have to be very precise with your enunciation. I learned that very quickly. Otherwise, it doesn't sound good. So, yeah, that's why I continue to do BFE. And I think some people like it, so I understand if you don't like it and you don't want to watch it because it makes you squirm. You absolutely do not have to watch it. You don't have to watch anything on my channel that you don't like. I do try to put out a variety of content for people. And I know it's strange, because YouTube hates that. YouTube wants you to do the exact same thing, so the same audience will enjoy watching the same videos on your channel. It's not really what I want to do. I want to make what I want to make. So, yeah, mostly nowadays, I do think of it as practice for speaking, yeah. Because I still do have a speech impediment. I just, I've worked very hard on it. Yeah. And I will continue to work harder. Until, maybe it's even less noticeable. Yeah. Damn YouTube. Oh, they made you younger, didn't they, Diana? Oh. You're gonna lose the old person credit. I know, I've been there. I've been losing a lot of old person credits as of late. I haven't been grumbling enough about my back, have I? Yeah. Or fiber supplements, or prune juice, or denture cream. I really need to talk about late night infomercials again. Yeah. Oh, they're multiplying. Yes, they are. R's and L's and S's. Yeah. The R's, I had trouble with R's and S's. I still do. It's okay, Diana. It's okay. Speech impediments are fairly common, and should you want to work at it, there are plenty of resources out there. Maybe you could make your own ASMR videos, right? They're wonderful for practicing things like that, especially the S's. Like, I have a really big sibilance problem. So sibilance would be CHS and TS, things like that. Those kind of sounds. Sounds that make you sound like static on a walkie-talkie. Yeah, I really had a big one. Yeah, big problem with those. I still do, with the S's especially. Yeah, you'll hear the sibilance on the trailing S's. I try to cut that off manually. And I think it works for the most part. Like, it was a lot worse back when I started. But I'm still working on it. And so can you if you want to. Oh no, I was crying about the old thing. Yeah, you gotta be really careful about losing your old man credits, right? I have to be really careful about losing my old man credits. Man, that shot was perfect. Maybe I should talk more about liking Arby's. Not sponsored, by the way. Like, no offense, but I wouldn't even want to be sponsored by Arby's. I don't mind their beef and cheddar. I don't like their barbecue sauce. I think it's pretentious. No. We have to do the, No, that's not alright. Yeah, we have to do something we haven't done in a long time. We have to make a jump here. I think maybe like this. Nope, not at all. Their horsey sauce is good? Yeah, I actually agree with you. Not too many places serve horseradish sauce anymore now. No. Like, I always thought it was funny. A lot of people really enjoy, their... I don't know. Like the tubes of wasabi that they get at the grocery store or at restaurants that don't serve actual wasabi. But, yeah, that wasabi that you find in the grocery store, that's all horseradish, colored green. Usually it's some kind of starch as a binder. That's all it is. Horseradish. And they do apparently taste similar. I've never had fresh wasabi. I wish I could, but they don't really grow it. Ugh. Yeah, that nausea's coming back. They don't really grow it anywhere, but I think they have one place in the UK which has artificially recreated the perfect growing conditions from Japan. It needs like fresh mountain stream water in a gravel bed, given perfect temperature control. So really, there aren't really too many places that can grow wasabi, and they pretty much all occur naturally. And you will never get it, because wasabi, as soon as you take it out of the ground, starts pretty much decomposing. Yeah, so all wasabi in the supermarkets, definitely horseradish, unless you live in Japan or the UK. Sadly, I can't talk really good in Spanish, but my English needs more training to do. Yep. Hmm. I don't know, Senmath. Like,
Presented by
I
David.
really couldn't tell you if you can speak Spanish well. No hablo español. Lo siento. uh, my Spanish is terrible, so I couldn't tell you if you can speak Spanish well. But I think your English is very serviceable, you know? I, 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 I think anybody could really improve through something like BFE. I don't think it's something that you necessarily have to feel bad about if you want to try and enunciate things more clearly. I think any kind of ASMR content will get you focused on the right kind of things that you need to pick up on in how you train your voice. Now, I might be a bit lucky in that I had so many years of speech therapy, so I kind of know what I need to do to fix my voice a little bit, but it's still very much trial and error. Yeah. And I have to do it very consciously. Yeah. But if you look at some of the earliest voice content on this channel, uh, I think I had a different model back then for the first live stream. But if you listen to me talk back then, just 7 months ago, I think you'll hear a marked improvement overall. And sure, I used to talk this clearly all the time. I lost that after not speaking very much for about 8 years. But now I have it back, for the most part, and I am again trying to improve. I really do think the voice is important, and I think anyone can make it better. Their own voice, like, yeah, I get that some people don't like hearing their own voice recorded. I had to hear it a lot as a kid, as part of the speech therapy. Here's how you're saying it wrong, Hyde. Say it more like this. Okay, here's how you did it again. Say it more like this. So I think that might have helped with why I got into BFE like I did, making the one sleep aid and then redoing it essentially. Yeah, I like having those kind of standards and baselines to compare to. Yeah, I think that makes it very easy to see your progress. Or in some cases, your retrogressions. Yeah. Unfortunate though they may be, I have made several in my life. And it's fine, because you can always progress again. I know, actual wasabi is very expensive. Oh yeah, well, we were talking about wasabi, weren't we? Yeah. I've never had it. I hear it's really good. Like, it's more mild than horseradish. I don't know, though. I probably never will. That's fine. Um, I don't mind the horseradish itself. Yeah, that stuff's fine with me. It's got a nice kick to it. Watching Hyde helps a lot. You talk really good, and use mostly common English. Oh, thank you for not mentioning my verbosity. my pulchritude for No, I won't mess with you. I do appreciate it though, Sen. That's very kind of you. I don't think we actually talked about anything that I had on my list of topics that I prepared already. Not one thing. Fantastic. That means there will be more for the next time. But we will be ending here soon. Most streamers, VTubers use a lot of new words. Hyde is awake now. Hyde is feeling slightly better. uh, well, he's feeling well enough. A miracle. Uh, yeah, let's call it a miracle. Yeah. That's a nice way of ending a stream. A miracle. I'm glad if my English can help you, Sen. And I'm glad if me being awake is a miracle in your book, Diana. I want to thank you all for coming today. I know it was another short stream. Hopefully, next week we will get a bit longer again. But I don't know. Anything can happen, right? I had a lot of fun. Oops. But yeah, this will be the end. Thank you all for coming. It made the night a little bit better. I do feel a little less nauseated. Yeah. A little bit less. And that's always a blessing, right? Yeah. So, without further ado, thanks for the stream, you're welcome. Good night. Hope the weather is better for you. I hope so too. And I hope the bad weather doesn't go your way either. It was a pleasure. But I'll see you all next time. I love you all. Hyde out.